Alright, so very soon on Global Dokkan, we are going to be getting the Carnival LR Omega Shenron. Now, obviously, you probably shouldn't summon on his banner. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But with his banner does come a lot of other content that allows you to obviously grind a lot of stones, save up a lot of those stones for maybe, Dragon Ball Heroes, New Year's, potentially a synced 9th year anniversary, something like that. So, definitely stuff to look forward to with his banner coming out. Not for his banner, but like I said, for the content that's coming along with it. So I'm sure a lot of you are curious when exactly we can expect that stuff to drop. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. And also we're going to go over when Omega Shenron's banner is going to drop. So if you do plan on summoning for his banner, which I can't stress enough, I highly recommend against that. But if you do plan on it, then we will answer that question in today's video. So just to clarify a couple things, I don't know exactly for sure when it's going to come out. This is speculation at the end of the day, but we've got like a 90% chance of seeing this stuff happen. So I think this information is pretty credible because, well, I mean, we're literally basing it off of the previous, Dokkan thank you celebrations. So it's definitely very reliable information. I mean, it's Dokkan itself. So it's not like I'm going out on a limb here saying, this is when it's going to come out. But keep in mind, Dokkan's weird sometimes. They might want to switch it up for this year's thank you celebration. But anyway, so last year's thank you celebration, you could see the Part 1 banner came out the 28th of November. And then the Part 2 banner, which was the Merge Zamasu, we ended up getting the 12th of December. So what is that? 15 days in between both banners. So about 2 weeks in terms of like time between both the banners. And then the year before that, actually this is a better like look of what this year's banner is going to look like, because you can see the release date for the Part 1 banner was the exact same as the release date for the Part 1 banner for this year's thank you celebration. So then the Part 2 LR for Tanabata 2 years back, we actually didn't get the Janemba. We got like some weird random legendary summon banner, but it released the 17th, which is about like 2 weeks after the Part 1 banner. So then obviously for this year's thank you celebration, it would make sense then that we got the Part 2 Carnival LR banner 2 weeks after the original Dokkan Fest banner, which 2 weeks after the third would be the 17th. So actually it would align exactly with Tanabata 2 years back, or thank you celebration, whatever you want to call it. Because like I mentioned, we got the Part 1 banner the 3rd of November, and then the Part 2 Legendary Summon banner was the 17th. So basically what I'm saying is the 17th of this month, so about like 4 days from now, I would expect to have Omega Shenron in-game. And then with Omega Shenron, obviously there's going to be a lot of other content. I did a separate video going over the full celebration details for Part 2 of the Thank You Celebration. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to it on the screen. But just briefly, I do want to go over Omega Shenron's banner before we call it a video, just to really drive the point home. You should not be summoning on this banner. So, yeah, this is the banner that we're looking at. Obviously, Omega Shenron can be pretty useful. If you got him on a full GT Bosses team, I think he's actually going to be a very, useful option. He's on a lot of weak teams as well, and can be pretty useful in some situations. But, dude, the GT Bosses team, it just straight up sucks. I mean, we could pull it up really quick. This is not a good category whatsoever. I would say there's, maybe 2 other good units on here. I mean, Omega Shenron's pretty good. LR Baby with his EZA is really good, which, by the way, we are going to be getting this in a couple weeks. I think we get this the end of November, so definitely pretty good with that. And then, what? I guess the Super 17s are pretty good, or Super 17 is pretty good. I mean, obviously, when you get the fusion into Super 17 and he builds up a little, he can be really impressive. But other than those very few options, which only forms, 3 units in a team, and you need 6 units for a team, everyone on here sucks. So definitely not a good category. So then for him to be restricted to the GT Bosses category does kind of affect him. But if you really got hope they're going to make GT Bosses a top tier maybe team one day or something like that, I guess maybe you could summon, because as it stands, he is obviously by far the best unit on GT Bosses, and he does lead it for 200% as well. So if you're running GT Bosses, this guy definitely is a good option on there. He can get a lot of damage reduction. He also has this debuff, which is nice for Super Battle Road. And then he's got that active skill, which I guess is nice. But I don't know. He's not as insane as he should have been. But for a lot of these really weak teams, he is still a very useful addition to them. But to get into the rest of the banner, so the rest of the featured units, we got the Carnival LR Super Saiyan Goku. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's not, insane. I think he definitely has aged a little, but he's still really good. I mean, if you build up with him, then he's pretty much tanking most events. And then also he is a support, so he can make the team around him look a little bit better. And I know his damage is pretty good as well. I think he has built-in additionals. So definitely a good unit with him. I would say the 2 Carnival LRs are the only real good options on this banner. And then everyone else sucks. So the Gohan and the Trunks, they need an easy A. The Ice and Nova Shenron, they just absolutely suck. Nova Shenron, yeah, this guy sucks. Tech Sin Shenron, he can be kind of alright in some situations if you, I think, get Key Spheres with him. Because I think he gets a certain amount of attack and defense depending on how many orbs you get. Yeah, okay, so you need a total of, what is this, 7 Key Spheres to get his full passive activated, which is just a lot. Don't get me wrong, he is orb changing, but I don't know. Of course, with GT bosses, a lot of units are going to be struggling. They're going to be struggling for Key, struggling for all this stuff. So then him specifically needing the Rainbow Orbs can actually be kind of difficult for the team. So he's a good addition to a lot of these weak teams. Well, he's on 3 teams, so I guess he's not really a great addition to a lot of weak teams, but he's a good addition to a couple of weak teams. So he's not horrible, but he's going to be bad in, like, 6 months. So there's that. But then this guy right here, the Physical Sin Shenron, even worse than the Tech one. He just sucks. Int Cell. He is getting his easy A for this celebration alongside the Physical Frieza and then the STR Kid Goku. I think all 3 of them are decent. I think they're pretty mid. Honestly, I forget what they do exactly. They're very forgettable easy A's, so that's why I'm assuming they're probably just pretty mid. But, I mean, more GT bosses buffs isn't the worst thing, so I guess if you pull them, if you decide to summon, might not be the worst thing, but they're not that great, right? And then we got the Int Cell and Frieza. I mean, yeah, just not a great unit. I mean, I think they're pretty alright with their easy A, but I'm not entirely sure if they're that good. Or yeah, Celza. I said Cell and Frieza. I mean, it is Cell and Frieza, but you know what I mean. What do they get? 120% to stats, 10% HP. Another 10% of HP is 50% or less. Okay, so, I mean, they're healing a lot. And then 100% on Super if HP is 50% or more. Oh, yeah, they suck. No, yeah, they're bad. So, very bad banner. I would say the best unit you can pull on here isn't even featured. It's one of the unfeatured LRs. I mean, obviously, you got Bulma. Merge Zamasu's still really good. Who else is there? I mean, I guess the Int Spirit Bomb Goku. I'm not sure if he's going to be returning on Global for this banner, but if he is, he's not that bad. He can do a lot of damage. And then you've got Golden Frieza, still amazing. Baby, like I said, very good easy A. And then God Goku has a good easy A. Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, I don't know how I forgot about him. He has a great easy A. So there are some good options on here in terms of the unfeatured LRs, but I don't know if it's still worth summoning because these featured LRs are just featured units. I mean, the featured LRs are decent, except for these guys. But all the other featured units, yeah, man, good luck pulling something good. I mean, even if you end up getting Omega, you got to have a stacked GT Bosses team. Super Saiyan Goku, for beginners, this is probably the best unit you could pull on this banner because he works very good on a lot of teams. Obviously, he's got, the Goku links, the Goku categories, and he's a good support. But, yeah, not the best banner, so I definitely do recommend skipping. So I guess that pretty much has been the video. Just to reiterate everything, the Omega Shenron's banner should be dropping the 17th of November. So 5 days from now, I would say, is the latest time you could expect it. Definitely skip his banner, but with his banner comes a lot of content. So, that's a good thing because obviously more stones for future banners that do have value. So anyway, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments which banner you're saving your stones for, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.